Are you aware that some of the most basic activities you continue to perform past the age of 65 could be the clearest indicators of your potential to reach 100 years? It's not about extraordinary genetic predispositions or wonder-working supplements. Rather, commonplace capabilities can subtly disclose your true resilience, robustness, and capacity for a long life. In this presentation, I'm going to examine 8 particular indicators which suggest you are heading towards a more extended, healthier existence, perhaps even reaching the century mark. These are not mere conjectures. They are supported by extensive research spanning decades on the subject of healthy aging. Moreover, they mirror the fundamental systems that maintain your mental acuity, physical mobility, emotional involvement, and complete autonomy. Individually, each might appear insignificant, yet collectively, they paint a portrait of an individual whose mind and body are maturing with vigor, not succumbing to decline. A man who may not realize just how well he's doing until he sees these signs laid out before him. Continue with me until the conclusion, as you will not only learn about these signs, but also understand their significance and how to preserve them for as long as feasible. Should even a couple of these resonate with your experience, consider it a source of pride and perhaps an encouragement to persist. Let us begin. First, the capacity to walk for 30 minutes without requiring a pause. Among the most distinct and reliable indicators of your body's favorable aging process is your capacity to maintain a 30-minute walk without interruption. This isn't about competitive running or brisk power walking, but rather consistent, deliberate motion. Regardless of whether you are ambling through your local area, navigating supermarket aisles, or merely walking up and down your driveway, this straightforward activity contains a vast wealth of data concerning your enduring health. What makes this so crucial? It's because ambulation involves more than merely transiting between two locations. It serves as a comprehensive test of bodily coordination. Your respiratory system, your cardiovascular system, your musculature, your articulations, and even your cognitive functions must all operate in concert, instantaneously. Consequently, if you are past 65 and can still manage a walk of that duration comfortably without experiencing breathlessness, joint discomfort, or the necessity to pause, this is not merely an indication of good physical condition. It signifies genuine resilience. There's a valid reason physicians frequently inquire with older patients about the distance or frequency of their walks, as the response enlightens them on numerous aspects: your cardiovascular robustness, your equilibrium, your energy levels, and even your susceptibility to decline. Individuals who walk regularly and with ease generally exhibit lower blood pressure, improved memory retention, healthier blood sugar concentrations, and more potent immune responses. It is all interconnected. However, there's something more profound at play here as well. The facility to move through the world with ease reflects your continued connection to life itself. You encounter neighbors. You breathe in fresh air. You remain upright and engaged with your environment. Walking, in many respects, keeps your mind and body synchronized with the cadence of daily existence. I once encountered a gentleman named Jerry. He was 80 and exceptionally sharp. His secret? He walked every single morning, regardless of the weather. Nothing strenuous, just a serene 30-minute circuit around his block. He mentioned it aided his thinking, improved his sleep, and helped him feel like his true self. And as it transpired, Jerry had outlived the majority of his contemporaries, not because he pursued youth, but because he remained in motion. Now, if ambulating for 30 minutes seems excessive, that isn't a cause for alarm. But it is a signal to be attentive, because endurance can diminish subtly, often before discomfort manifests. You might begin opting for shorter routes, omitting steps, or sitting more frequently than you previously did. That is how deterioration commences, not with an abrupt collapse, but with a gradual contraction of your world. The positive news is that your walking capability can be maintained and even enhanced through consistency. You do not require a gymnasium. You do not need specialized footwear. You simply need to continue moving. Every step you undertake is a communication to your body. I'm still present. I'm still robust. I'm still advancing. So, if you are someone who still walks for 30 minutes with ease, cherish that with pride. And if you're not quite at that point yet, view it as a gentle challenge. A bit more each day, a little greater distance each week, because every minute you remain on your feet is an additional moment. You are preserving your body's youthfulness. Second, the facility to recall names, appointments, and daily responsibilities with ease. If you are over 65 and can still bring names to mind without faltering, remember engagements without necessitating constant prompts, and manage your daily tasks without a sense of mental haze, then you are already achieving something remarkable. Mental acuity at this period of life isn't merely a pleasant advantage. It's one of the most unambiguous signs of long-term brain wellness and even life duration. Our brains naturally process information somewhat more slowly with advancing age, and we might require an additional moment to locate a word or reconstruct a thought. That is typical. But what I'm discussing here isn't a postponement. It's the capacity to retain, organize, and retrieve information consistently. If you still find yourself articulating things like, "Oh yes, I recall her. Her daughter's name is Sarah," or if you can manage your own timetable without depending excessively on others, it demonstrates that the pathways in your brain remain well connected and operational. Cognitive strength at this age signifies more than just remembering trivia. It implies you are preserving your independence. You are navigating your own existence. You are making decisions, resolving problems, and remaining mentally involved with the world surrounding you. That kind of mental nimbleness doesn't just materialize accidentally. It's frequently the outcome of years of habits that safeguard your brain. Sound sleep, regular physical activity, balanced nutrition, meaningful social engagement, and inquisitiveness. There's also a concealed confidence that accompanies mental lucidity. You have faith in yourself. You don't constantly reevaluate every minor detail. You're not residing in a state of anxiety about whether you've forgotten something. That tranquility alone shields your emotional well-being, diminishes stress, and enables you to appreciate the life you've constructed. Consider the instance of Helen, 77, who manages her own schedule with precision. She remembers birthdays, coordinates church gatherings, and still engages in word games every evening with her husband. Her physician once informed her she possessed the cognitive clarity of someone 20 years her junior. And it wasn't serendipity, it was regularity. She read books, maintained social connections, posed questions, and never ceased learning. Her curiosity was her most potent remedy. The reality is, the brain thrives on challenge, and the instant we stop providing it with something to strive for, whether it's a crossword puzzle, a recipe, a telephone call, or a new pastime, it starts to diminish its activity. So, if you're still recalling details effortlessly, you're not merely fortunate, you're healthy. And if you've observed yourself faltering somewhat, forgetting names more frequently, requiring more reminders, or losing your sense of time, that doesn't signify that decline is unavoidable. The brain is far more adaptable than we often believe. New neural connections can still be formed, habits can still be modified, but it commences with mindfulness and the resolution to stay mentally active. Therefore, if you still possess a sharp memory and can navigate your day with mental clarity, hold on to that. Cultivate it, challenge it, keep it operational. Because a mind that remains clear at this stage in life is more than just an instrument, it's a treasure. And frequently, it's one of the most powerful indications that your path ahead might be more extensive than you imagine. If you are still viewing this presentation and find these observations valuable, please type number 2 in the comments below to indicate your presence. And if you have not yet subscribed, I suggest you do so and activate the notification bell to ensure you don't miss any future content. Your engagement helps us persist in producing informative and inspiring material. Now let us proceed. Third, the capacity to rise from a chair or the floor without employing your hands. There's a certain power in being able to get up from a chair, or even from the ground, without needing to support yourself or push off with your hands. It might not seem like a significant matter, but this elementary movement carries a surprising degree of importance concerning your health, mobility, and autonomy after the age of 65. Why is this? Because standing up from a seated posture without using your arms necessitates robust leg muscles, solid core stability, good equilibrium, and coordination. All of these elements are vital for averting falls, sustaining confidence in your movements, and upholding the kind of liberty that makes daily existence feel controllable and dignified. Consider this. When you can smoothly arise from the sofa, exit a vehicle with ease, or even get up from the floor after retrieving something, it's an indication that your body is still operating as a cohesive, responsive system. And more crucially, it reveals that your lower body has not forfeited its strength. This is critical because research has demonstrated that leg strength, particularly in the quadriceps and hips, is one of the most potent predictors of longevity and fall prevention among older adults. Falls are not merely mishaps. For many seniors, a single fall can initiate a sequence of health issues, injuries, hospital admissions, diminished confidence, and ultimately reduced movement. That is why the ability to stand up independently, especially without hand assistance, serves as such a vital marker. It's more than mere convenience. It's a reflection of how effectively your musculoskeletal system is aging. Take an individual like Frank, 75. He never had much inclination for gyms, but every morning he made it a practice to sit down on his living room carpet, perform a few stretches, and then stand back up. No assistance, no hands. When he shared this with his physical therapist during a routine examination, they remarked, "You're faring better than half the individuals a decade younger." This is because the ability to rise from the floor is something many people begin to lose without even noticing, until they attempt it one day and discover they are unable. But the encouraging news is that this capability is trainable. If you've started to observe yourself using your hands more frequently to get up or requiring additional effort to push out of a chair, that doesn't mean it's insurmountable. It simply means your body is requesting support. Even straightforward chair squats, leg lifts, or seated exercises can aid in restoring strength and coordination. What is paramount is not whether you've decelerated, but whether you are still capable of lifting yourself with control. That movement signifies more than musculature. It represents autonomy. The ability to rise on your own implies you are not reliant on others for something as fundamental and essential as movement. It indicates your nervous system, your brain, and your muscles are still communicating and collaborating effectively. So, if you can stand up without using your hands, take a moment to feel proud of that. That's not something to be taken lightly. It's an emblem of strength, resilience, and the kind of physique that still has numerous active years in its future. Because the day you cease to rise with ease is the day your world starts to diminish. And it doesn't have to unfold that way. Fourth, the capacity to sleep soundly through the night and awaken feeling revitalized. One of the most unambiguous indications that your body is aging favorably, frequently disregarded, is the quality of your sleep. If you are over 65 and still find it easy to fall asleep, remain asleep throughout the night, and wake up feeling rested, you are accomplishing something that many individuals your age quietly find challenging. Why is this so significant? Because satisfactory sleep isn't solely about feeling alert in the morning. It is during profound sleep that your brain performs its cleansing functions, eliminating waste products, consolidating memories, and mending nerve connections. Your heart rate decelerates, your blood pressure decreases, and your body transitions into a restorative state. And for older adults, that recuperation process is even more crucial because your immune system, your brain, and your hormones all depend on quality sleep to maintain proper function. When sleep begins to deteriorate, everything else tends to follow suit. Individuals who do not sleep well are more prone to difficulties with memory, mood, blood sugar regulation, and even balance. Inadequate sleep is associated with an elevated risk of stroke, depression, weight gain, and dementia. And the most unfortunate aspect is that many seniors simply resign themselves to poor sleep as an inherent part of aging. But it need not be so. Let me share the story of Carol, age 79. She began waking up 4 or 5 times per night and presumed it was standard. "Everyone my age experiences this," she remarked. But when she eventually brought it up with her doctor, they conducted some simple assessments and discovered her iron levels were low, and she was slightly dehydrated. A few adjustments to her evening habits, more water earlier in the day, an iron-rich snack before bedtime, and a consistent lights-out schedule helped her sleep improve substantially. She described it as if her entire world had reopened. There's a fundamental reason why sleep is termed the cornerstone of health. You can consume nutritious food, engage in daily movement, maintain social connections, but if your sleep is fragmented, the advantages of everything else are significantly diminished. And if you awaken still feeling fatigued, that isn't restful sleep. It's merely a period of unconsciousness. If you are someone who still sleeps through the night and awakens with sufficient energy to face the day, that's not something to disregard. That's your body communicating that its internal mechanisms, your hormones, your nervous system, your stress response are still synchronized. That equilibrium is more challenging to preserve with age, and it often deteriorates before other symptoms become apparent. Now, if your sleep isn't quite at the level it should be, don't dismiss it. Numerous factors influence sleep quality, from ambient temperature and light to medications and meal schedules. But what is most vital is acknowledging that sleep is not merely a passive state. It's one of the most active processes your body undertakes for your long-term well-being. And here's the crucial point. Deep, consistent, high-quality sleep isn't an indulgence. It's a vital indicator. If your body still possesses the ability to wind down, remain restful, and regenerate itself each night, it signifies your systems are still functioning harmoniously. And that sort of harmony is one of the most potent signs you are equipped for enduring vitality. If you are still engaged with this presentation and find these observations beneficial, please comment number 4 below to let me know you are following. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I encourage you to do so and enable notifications so you won't miss any upcoming videos. Your backing assists us in continuing to generate valuable content to inform and motivate you. Now let us continue. 5th, the capacity to sustain meaningful relationships and social connections. If you are over 65 and still nurture friendships, keep in contact with family, or regularly allocate time to spend with people who are important to you, then you are engaging in an activity most individuals undervalue, something profoundly linked to longevity. Social connection isn't merely a source of comfort in later years, it's a crucial support system, and it influences how long and how well you live to a far greater extent than many people comprehend. Research has indicated that consistent social engagement is just as vital to your health as regular physical activity or a nutritious diet. In reality, loneliness has been correlated with heightened risks of heart disease, depression, compromised immunity, and even premature mortality. But connection, authentic connection, aids in safeguarding against those risks. It keeps your mind keen, your mood stable, and your body more resilient. This is because relationships provide something that no medication or supplement can. They offer a reason to rise in the morning, a reason to laugh, a reason to care. And that feeling of being acknowledged, being needed, being valued, it nurtures you, not just on an emotional level, but biologically as well. Consider someone like Robert, aged 82. Following his wife's passing, he lived by himself, but every week, without exception, he gathered with a small cohort of friends at a local diner. They conversed, jested, recounted the same familiar tales, and he stated that single hour each week provided him with the fortitude to persist. He referred to it as medicine without a prescription, and he was not mistaken. Social interaction genuinely impacts the levels of stress hormones in your body. It enhances blood circulation to the brain. It fosters better sleep. And when you communicate with people who care about you, your body literally reacts by diminishing inflammation and bolstering immune balance. Even elementary gestures are significant. A telephone call, a lunch engagement, a brief visit from a neighbor. You don't require a large assembly, you simply need connection. Because isolation doesn't invariably manifest as sitting alone. Sometimes it appears as going days without substantive conversation or lacking someone with whom you feel secure enough to confide. That sort of emotional solitude can erode your health in ways that are imperceptible yet potent. So, if you are someone who still maintains contact with friends, checks in on others, or derives pleasure from conversation, you are doing more than just remaining social. You are shielding your mind and body from the gradual toll of loneliness. And if your social sphere has contracted somewhat, if your world feels more subdued than it once did, that doesn't imply it's too late. Begin modestly. Enroll in a class, contact an old friend, accept an invitation you might typically refuse, because just one meaningful exchange each day can alter the course. Human beings are inherently wired for connection. We depend on it for survival. We flourish with it. And when you are still actively cultivating those connections after 65, you are accomplishing more than most. You are opting for life in the most fundamentally human manner. Sixth, the capacity to prepare and savor nutritious meals independently. If you are over 65 and still make your own meals, select ingredients, cook them with attention, and sit down to appreciate what you've created, then you are doing substantially more than merely nourishing yourself. You are exhibiting one of the most crucial and undervalued indicators of enduring vitality: daily self-reliance rooted in awareness, discipline, and dignity. Preparing meals might appear commonplace, but it is, in fact, a multifaceted skill. It encompasses planning, physical movement, balance, memory, and frequently, a sense of purpose. You are selecting what to consume based on your body's requirements. You are navigating your kitchen environment safely. You are timing ingredients, managing heat, and making determinations. This signifies your body and mind are still functioning in concert. Beyond that, however, your ability to cook and enjoy your own food demonstrates that you still prioritize your health and that you are not idly drifting through your day. You are still opting for nourishment over mere convenience, still engaging with the particulars of daily existence, still investing in the quality of your future. Let's consider a tangible example. I was acquainted with a lady named Lorraine, 85 years of age, who prepared breakfast every single morning: eggs, toast, fruit, and coffee, precisely as she preferred it. She would say, "It's how I confirm I'm still myself." Her son once proposed bringing her pre-made frozen meals to simplify matters, and she responded with a smile. That's the initial step toward surrendering. For her, preparing food wasn't solely about consumption, it was about independence. And there's a more profound aspect to this. The kinds of food you prepare and relish reveal a great deal about how your body is aging. When older adults continue to eat leafy greens, vibrant vegetables, lean proteins, nuts, and whole grains, it's a strong indication that they are managing inflammation, preserving muscle mass, supporting their cognitive functions, and protecting their cardiovascular health. But when dietary habits decline, when meals become erratic, excessively processed, or omitted entirely, it's often one of the earliest signals of deterioration. That's because cooking demands energy. And when an individual begins to lose that energy or that inclination, it frequently manifests first in the kitchen. He stops planning meals. He snacks instead of eating properly. The refrigerator appears more barren than usual. These are the subtle cues that whisper before more significant symptoms begin to proclaim themselves. So, if you are still cooking meals you find pleasurable, if you derive satisfaction from preparing and tasting your food, that's an accomplishment to acknowledge. It means you remain engaged, and that sense of attentiveness extends far beyond the dinner plate. But if you've lost that enthusiasm, if cooking feels like a chore, or if you find yourself skipping meals, it might be an opportune moment to assess your situation. Is it weariness, mood, or a diminished appetite? Sometimes all it requires is a little inspiration or assistance, a shared meal, a new recipe, a visit to a farmer's market, to rekindle that connection to food. Because food isn't merely sustenance, it's memory, it's rhythm. And when you are still creating it for yourself after 65, you're holding on to something profoundly life-affirming. If you are still following this presentation and find these insights valuable, please type number 6 in the comments below to let me know you are here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you do so and activate the notification bell to ensure you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue producing quality content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's proceed. 7th, the capacity to manage your own finances and medications without confusion. If you are over 65 and still handling your own bills, bank accounts, and medications without requiring someone to verify your work, you are accomplishing something genuinely significant. This type of mental organization and daily accountability is a potent indicator of long-term cognitive robustness and independence, and it reveals a great deal about how your brain is operating. Managing your finances involves more than just writing checks or utilizing a credit card. It entails memory, logical reasoning, meticulousness, and foresight. You must keep track of payment deadlines, comprehend statements, identify discrepancies, and steer clear of fraudulent schemes. That is executive function in operation. It's your brain functioning at an advanced level, quietly, consistently, and proficiently. And concerning medications, the implications are even more critical. Knowing what to take, the correct timing, and the appropriate dosage without omitting doses or making errors demands keen attention and discipline. Medication mistakes are among the most frequent reasons for hospital admissions in seniors. Therefore, the ability to manage them independently isn't merely a minor achievement, it's a substantial safeguard for your health. What all this signifies is decision-making capability. If you can still make lucid, timely, and well-informed decisions regarding your money and your health, you are safeguarding your independence every single day. And that skill, often taken for granted, is one of the initial capacities to diminish when cognitive decline sets in. I recall Henry, 78, who still meticulously recorded all his expenditures on a yellow legal pad, reconciled his checkbook weekly, and reviewed his medication regimen monthly. When his daughter offered to assume responsibility for his finances, he responded, "Not at this time. I wish to maintain my mental acuity," and he was correct. His attention to detail kept him mentally stimulated, self-assured, and in command of his own life. Now, if you've begun to observe minor lapses, perhaps overlooking a payment, confusing a pill container, or needing assistance to organize your schedule, that isn't something to conceal. It's something to investigate. Because occasionally, small adjustments in your routines can shield you from more significant risks in the future. Automatic bill payments, pill organizers, clearer calendars, these are aids, not indications of failure. What is most crucial is your awareness and your readiness to remain involved. Because once you cease to pay attention to your financial and medical affairs, you relinquish that control to another individual. And while assistance is sometimes essential, being able to direct your own matters is profoundly connected to your self-esteem and autonomy. So, if you are still managing these facets of your life without difficulty, that's not merely doing fine. That's a sign your mind remains sharp, your systems are still robust, and your life is still under your direction. And for someone aspiring to live to 100 with quality and dignity, that is one of the most powerful indicators available. Eighth, the capacity to awaken each day with a sense of purpose and curiosity. If you are over 65 and still greet the morning with a reason to commence your day, something you anticipate, something you care about, something that motivates you to get out of bed, that's not merely beneficial for your mood. It's one of the most potent predictors of a long life that we are aware of. Because purpose isn't just an emotion, it's a driving force. It keeps the mind alert, the heart engaged, and the body disposed to continue. Possessing a sense of purpose doesn't necessitate that you're employed or pursuing ambitious objectives. It can be as straightforward as cultivating a garden, walking a dog, writing in a journal, volunteering, phoning your children, assisting a neighbor, or even acquiring new knowledge simply because it piques your interest. That small spark of, "I have something to accomplish today," that's what imparts meaning to the day. And over time, it furnishes your life with structure, direction, and contentment. Researchers have consistently found that individuals who have a reason to wake up in the morning, irrespective of its magnitude, tend to live longer, experience illness less frequently, and recover more swiftly when they do. It's not sorcery, it's motivation. Purposeful individuals are more active, they connect more, they take better care of themselves, and their bodies react by remaining younger for a longer duration. Consider someone like Ruth, 84, who crafts handmade cards for every birthday within her church group. She claims it's a trivial pursuit, but it brings smiles to people's faces. What she might not comprehend is that, in doing so, she is also fortifying her memory, maintaining her manual dexterity, staying socially connected, and imbuing her heart with a sense of belonging, all through one minor weekly custom. Conversely, when individuals lose that sense of purpose, matters tend to deteriorate. Days feel more protracted, energy levels wane, conversations seem lackluster, and the future appears less appealing. That's why some individuals appear to age swiftly after retirement or following a significant loss. They haven't merely lost a job or a person, they've lost their bearings. But here's the wonderful aspect. Purpose can invariably be reconstructed at any age. It simply needs to be meaningful to you. It doesn't have to impress anyone or achieve some grand aim. It just needs to matter sufficiently that you desire to engage in it again tomorrow. If you still experience curiosity, if you still wish to learn, to assist, to develop, to contribute, that's not merely an indication that your spirit is strong. It means your brain remains adaptable, your emotions are still active, and your body is still responsive to your will to live. And in numerous respects, that's one of the clearest signs you're not just aging, you're still evolving. So, if you awaken with something to look forward to, treasure that, because that quiet internal drive might be one of the most significant reasons you've reached this point, and one of the reasons you'll continue longer than most anticipate. Final thoughts. So, now that you've heard all 8 signs, how many did you identify in yourself? Perhaps 1 or 2 were immediately apparent. Maybe you recognized yourself in more of them than you anticipated. In any case, take a moment to truly absorb that, because if you're over 65 and you can still perform these actions, it's not merely fortuity. It's an indication that your mind and body are still functioning in remarkable ways. These aren't just nice-to-have capabilities. They are early predictors of longevity, independence, and quality of life. Every single one of them reflects systems that remain robust. Your heart, your muscles, your brain, your habits, your sense of purpose. And when all of those are still collaborating, that's the kind of harmony that adds not just years to your life, but life to your years. Naturally, not everyone will satisfy every criterion, and that is perfectly fine. This isn't an examination. It's a guide. It's a reminder of what is most important and what remains within your grasp. Because many of these attributes can be reclaimed, strengthened, or enhanced with time, diligence, and a degree of consistency. If there's a singular message to retain, let it be this: longevity isn't solely about eluding illness. It's about remaining actively involved in your own existence. It's about movement, memory, purpose, connection, and self-regard. And if you still possess even a few of these signs in your life, then you are already ahead of the majority and well on your path to a longer, more fulfilling future. So, here's what I would be keen to learn from you. Which of these 8 signs do you observe in yourself today? And which one do you intend to focus on improving the most this year? Thank you for joining me today. I would be delighted to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share one insight you gained today and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your perspectives are valuable to me, so please do not hesitate to share them. Reading your comments provides me with great motivation and encouragement. If you found this presentation enjoyable and beneficial, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others. Your support enables me to continue creating informative and inspiring content. Thanks for watching, and I anticipate seeing you in the next video.